Yeah, worst case scenario. Absolute worst case scenario. I kidnap the girl. I turn out to be a total creep, and I throw her in the trunk of my car. Absolute worst case scenario. Whoops! I didn't realize we were recording there. Jay, Rich, and Jerry, we're here with you. Trail Whispers podcast on a Thursday afternoon. Fun stories, chiropractic care. Life's an open book, so sit back in your chair. We're walking down the trail of life, so come along. With Trail Whispers podcast, you can't go wrong. We're just messing around, viewers. Jeremy's wife was like, I might have someone to introduce to Justin. And she was going back and forth, and Jeremy's like, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And I was like, absolute worst case scenario. So I'm just kidding. I'm a normal guy. I enjoy Cherry Coke Zero. Viewers, it's delicious and
you
nutritious.
got one. Dude, we were watching last week's podcast for a few minutes. Of course, the kids like to watch it. And I just told my wife, I said, can you believe that Justin's response for his specialty thing in Mansion is like Wendy's Coke machine? She just started laughing and shook her head. She's like, unreal.
It's called a Coca-Cola Freestyle. That's what it's called. Good night, girls.
All right. Love you.
Jay Rich loves you.
Jay Rich says he loves you. my oldest turned around like, what?
Don't be alarmed. I'm totally normal. My sister actually commented on Spotify, and she says, agree with the Wendy's soda machine. The peach Sprite is the best. So it's one of our comments this week. I'm not the only one that likes the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine in Wendy's. That's all I'm going to say.
Rebecca would go with the Freestyle machine as well.
Yeah, she would do the same. So she agrees. That's her one item in heaven.
Wow, that's crazy. So it's wild. Mate, buddy, love you. Mate, love you, kiddo. That's wild. I mean, she's the female version of you at this point.
We're pretty similar. She's definitely different than I am, She's more sensitive and caring, but I try. I do. Like I said, she thinks about things before I think about things after. So,
how would she describe you? If she's sensitive and caring, how would she describe you?
I don't know. She would be a fun person to have on for just like 10 minutes and maybe have her tell some funny stories or something, but we could ask her that question. I can ask her. I'll see her this week.
What is it like growing up with Jay Rich?
Like I said, I'm a normal guy, viewers. Normal guy. So, yeah, man. Let's talk about
comment or what?
Oh, no. We had some others. We had this cat, the WABC pastor, blowing us up last week. He since changed his username on YouTube since we started talking about him. So he changed it to his real name, which is Aaron. And he just said, I'm hearing about every eighth word from Justin. # Apple earbuds, please. And then there was a response to that from @PeteBox-VZ3PS, which seems like some kind of bot or troll. But they said, audio coming in for me just fine. # hearing aids, please. So I don't know who commented on it, but they're making fun of him, and I respect that. So, yeah, so leave a comment. If you hear something fun or you want to talk about something, leave a comment. I talked to my friend Chris today, who I've mentioned on here before, but I was talking to him about something else.
Is he into that scam business?
Scam business? The cryptocurrency?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's into that stuff. But I mean, it's real to him, I guess, it's one of those things. If it's real to you, Jerry, that's what the kids are doing these days. So he's doing good with it. But I was talking to him, and he was like, I actually just finished up the episode from the other day. And I was like, oh, you still listen? He said, I listen to every minute of those episodes. He said, I laugh out loud. And I was like, thanks, man. That's awesome. It's good to hear.
Dude, thanks for listening, Chris. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, at Mobile Trades with a Z. He's on YouTube. He's got a real channel. You know, we've got 11 subscribers. He has like 30,000. So
Do you think that he's been tricked and really YouTube is the same as like golf, where the lowest amount of subscribers is actually winning?
now, now you're thinking. Now you're thinking. You're revolutionizing the media game. You actually want the least amount of subscribers possible. It's like on Twitter or X or whatever. It's popular to like you only follow like 2 people, but you have like 10,000 followers. That's how you know you're cool because you don't follow anybody. Everyone follows you. But it's kind of like that, but in reverse. Like, you know, you're doing a good job when no one subscribes. When you're just barely crested over the double-digit subscriber, that's when you know, like, we are peaked right now.
So if you're a subscriber of ours, please go on there and click
Please
unsubscribe.
Don't. We're going to go on next week and there's going to be one less and someone's going to be sitting there laughing. Please don't. If you're not subscribed right now, I know each of these videos gets like 30 to 40, sometimes even 100 plays. And so, you know, just take a second, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with someone, whatever. I know that sounds desperate, but it actually helps. So we're going to talk about something everyone wants to talk about. Inflation. What are your thoughts?
Can we hold on to inflation? Because I want to talk about subscribers real quick.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
So I had an interaction. So we've been in Florida. You know, my wife's getting certified to be a lifeguard. She is certified now.
It's exciting.
Yep. So you'll probably see her. They'll probably start her out like in the hood at a YMCA, like in the hood, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Like East Cleveland?
Probably East Cleveland, like the midnight shift.
Where you have like one of those circular life preserver things and like a 45 caliber pistol. Yeah, that sounds about right.
So the church we've been visiting while we've been down here, just a great group of people. And
what's the name of the church? Just give it a shout out.
Tri-City Baptist Church.
Okay.
Great place. If you're in the Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda area, I think it's Charlotte County, you need to go there. Great place, real people. So I was talking on...
Just for the viewers, Jeremy's signed into this segment as Young Gravy. So he's recommending a church to you. I just want that to sink in. We'll leave it there. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Can viewers see my name or no?
No.
Okay.
It's just
I'm glad
me
you
that
did let them know. Okay, good. Yeah.
I tried to change mine, but it wouldn't let me. I was going to change it to Creflo Dollar. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's he's like a mega church pastor's black dude. I think he's in like Atlanta or something.
Yeah, I've heard of him before.
Yeah,
So last Wednesday, I'm at church and talking with a couple of my friends afterwards, and they're like, you should do a podcast. And I was like, why? And they're like, oh, you just have funny stories and yada, yada. And I was like, oh, I actually do a podcast. And they're like, no. They're like, what's your podcast name? And I said, can't tell you. I said, I'm about organic growth. I said, my friend that
what is wrong with you?
I said, my friend I do the podcast with is going to have a stroke when I tell him that I did not tell you the name of our podcast.
I'm so disappointed.
Yeah. So I could have had 3 subscribers on the spot. Plus they have a large family and lots of friends. So probably could have stretched this out to like 10, 15. But
yeah. That's
So
disappointing.
they tried to search me on Spotify and they found someone with my name that has like a was it like a BMX or dirt bike racing channel? And they're like,
Hmm.
yeah, that's not you. And I said, let us get to like 20 or 30 podcasts and then I'll let you know our names. So just remind me like
Why?
in 2 months.
This is number 12.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Dude, I'm like begging these people for comments. You're telling them to not subscribe. People are saying, "What's your podcast called?" You're saying, "No, I'm not telling you." And I'm just like scratching for listeners. Like, anyone willing to give this a shot? Do you see how it's not balanced? This isn't working. I'm gonna have to end this relationship.
I knew it'd be so fun just to tell you that, just so I could
Dude,
see your facial expression.
that's wild to me. Anyways,
So I'm
well,
kind of glad that they didn't because I just told everybody else that is a subscriber to unsubscribe, and that would have been a bummer.
yeah. So please don't listen to Jeremy, guys. He's clearly some kind of crackhead. He's signing this thing as Young Gravies, Tony to unsubscribe and go to church at the same time. You don't want this guy, okay? Uh,
Oh,
yeah. Dude, I'm feeling better than I was last week. I was rough last week. So
y-
I had some
yeah,
time
you
off
were under
work,
the
which was
weather.
nice. Yeah, it was rough. I was so tired. And then just my throat was super sore. My nose was running like crazy. So I'm feeling a lot better.
Good to hear. Yeah, I heard a lot of people have been down and out in the Ohio, Kentucky area with some colds and stuff.
Yeah. It's just weather, dude. And I'm supposed to get some crazy storms here, possible snow happening. It's too much. It's too much.
Time to move for you. You need to get down south, baby.
Yeah, it would be nice one day. I'll retire down there, I'm sure. So,
Maybe at that point, maybe I'll actually just tell them that they can subscribe whenever you retire and you go visit the church. You could tell them
yeah,
the name
he'll
of the
be here.
podcast.
You keep attending here faithfully for the next 35 years. He'll walk through those doors. You'll recognize him. He'll look like he has a prosthetic leg. That's the guy.
We'll be at
Yeah.
episode 3000.
Yeah. And it's still just the 11 subscribers. And you're just like, organic growth is the key. Organic growth. It's not growing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, so how was your week last week, man?
Oh, we had a great week. It was our last week in Florida, so that was a bummer. Just kind of knowing like the end was coming to a close. And to be honest, we just weren't even looking forward to coming back home because, you're looking at the weather. Of course, you miss friends and family and you miss your home, but we were just like, you know what? We're not missing anything. So, yeah, that was kind of a bummer, but it was good. We kind of maximized our week and um, like the last day we were there was Easter. So the day before, we went out to the beach for a couple of hours. We did some cleaning, get the house all in order and stuff like that. And yeah, so it was good. It was honestly just a really good time, just enjoying that time as a family, keep it low key. So it was good. How about for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. That sounds like a good week, though. And did you guys go to Anna Maria?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, such a great little island. The place is awesome.
Yeah, peaceful. It was a little bit busy because it was spring break last week, so
Yeah,
there was a
that's what I
little
was
more
gonna say.
traffic than usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great spot. I went there when I went. It was in the fall, and so it was like nobody there, no one at all.
Oh yeah.
So that was awesome. But um, yeah, great week for us here. So kids were on spring break, so I had the whole week with them. So that was awesome. So we Monday and Tuesday, my mom watched the kids and I worked. And spring's just a real busy time at work. So I can take the time off, but then work just kind of backs up. And so it's good just to, it was good to work for those 2 days and then had 3 days off. We went to a cabin Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we got a cabin in Amish country, Berlin, and it had a hot tub and it was in the woods. So we were playing hide and seek outside. There's all these stray cats. So my daughter like pulled a rocking chair up to the window and was like sitting there counting cats outside. There's three. No, wait, there's four. I'm just like, where are we? But we had a great time. It was awesome. Something something crazy happened. So I saw the address. I pull up my email. I open up the Airbnb email. I see the address, and it's like 4189 County Road 315, Millersburg, Ohio. And so I tried to click on it, but it wasn't syncing up with my Google Maps. And so I just started typing the address. I scrolled out of that screen, looked in, started typing 4189 County Road, and then it came up, County Road 315. So I just clicked the first one that came up. Like a few different things came up. We start driving. It's like, oh, it's 50 minutes away from home. No big deal. So we start driving and we get to the address and we're in Carrollton, Ohio, which is the complete other side.
no.
So I just clicked the first address without even looking at the city, which is totally something I do. That's just what I do. And so I was like, guys, I am so sorry, but we just drove an hour the wrong way. So we got a whole other hour to get there. So I was like, let's stop at Circle K. You can get whatever snack you want. And we listen to this old school radio show called Adventures in Odyssey. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it was,
Yep.
I think they're actually still making it to this day, but the episodes we're on were made in 1997, 2000, something like that. So, but it's fun, just these characters, Christian based. But so I'm like, we'll listen to some Adventures in Odyssey. We'll get whatever snack you want and we'll get there. Don't worry. So we got there at 5 o'clock still. So it wasn't a huge deal, but we just had such a good time together. So it was a lot of fun.
So tell me another time that you've done that with your maps where you went to the wrong location.
Oh, I've done it before.
Anything
Yeah.
worse than an hour out of the way?
I thought we were going to be in Columbus and we were with like a group of, there was like four of us in the car and put it into the GPS and started driving, end up in a cornfield. And I'm like, this is not where we're supposed to be. I was probably like 23 or 24 at the time. And it was really before phone GPSs were really like super common. So I had like a Garmin GPS and it took us to the wrong spot. So I was in the Ford Taurus too. I think I was in the Ford Taurus. So that was a long time ago.
Dude, that is a long
I've done
time
it
ago.
before. It's just an
What a
unfortunate
what a
genetic
good dad,
defect.
though. Yeah, it is. There's nothing you can do about that. But you're a good dad for recognizing, like, okay, sorry, kids, we're doubling up the drive time. Let's make the most out of it. Smell the roses along the way. Let's get, a Polar Pop and hit the road.
And those gas station snacks, man, those things are
Oh.
so expensive. It was like, I bought 3 snacks for the kids. I got myself a drink, and it's like $14. I'm like, what? So Jonah eats the whole bag of Lifesaver mints in the car. I had no idea how many he was eating, and then he had diarrhea. And I'm like, buddy, you can't eat like 70 like Lifesaver mints in like an hour's time. That's just it's not good. But I just had no idea. Then those wrappers stick to everything, so they're stuck all over the back of the leather seats and stuff. And it was funny, but we made it.
Yeah.
We had a great time. And then we had all day Saturday together. And then, Sunday I was doing yard work in the afternoon. Did an oil change in the lawnmower and mowed the grass. And yeah, it was good. Good weekend.
Dude, that sounds like a good weekend. What was your highlight from being at that place?
Oh, for sure. It was just everything. Like, it was nice not having to do anything or go anywhere. And there was like this diner in town, like this old, it's supposed to be like an old school field diner, but it was just Americana food. Like I got a Reuben, the kids got like mac and cheese, chicken tenders, stuff like that. But we went there one night for dinner, but it was just like, we don't have to go anywhere. We don't have to do anything. What do you guys want to do? You want to play hide and seek? Okay, let's play hide and seek. So we were playing inside the house we played, then we played outside the house, and then it's like, let's go in the hot tub. Okay, let's get in the hot tub. And so we kept going back and forth from like, we were playing a board game, we were playing hide and seek, we were in the hot tub, we watched a episode of Andy Griffith's show, and then we're back out in the hot tub and, you know, everything else. So making dinner and all this. It was good.
I think I lost you there for a brief second.
Yeah, I'm still here. But it was good. Just not having to do anything was the best.
Yeah, it's amazing sometimes when you feel that pressure of like you have to be somewhere. Mm-hmm. You can't fully relax. So it probably was nice for you and the kids too.
Yeah, just to be like, hey, we got nothing to do. The biggest problem we have to worry about is when we get out of the hot tub, we're not tracking all this water through the house, So it was good.
Dude, that's cool. What a great time.
Yeah.
Great time and a great memory. Probably one that they won't soon forget with it being spring break.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. And it wasn't really that much money. Like when I was looking around, like you can obviously spend a lot on an Airbnb. This place was $158 a night. And so it's like, that's not bad at all,
No.
So for under $400, you got 2 nights in this place, and so we got 3 days. It was great.
I think Jonah might be following in your footsteps after hearing that story with him and the Lifesavers.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll clear out some food. I'll turn around and like 3 honey buns are gone out of the Little Debbie snack cake box, and I'm like, buddy, we can't. We can't do that. So I get it. He's the same as me. You like the way something tastes, so you want more. Tastes like more,
Yeah, I vote that you give him a whole box of oatmeal cream pies and some honey rounds or honey buns and just turn him loose and just see if he can eat both boxes.
No way. He could probably take out the whole box of honey buns. He'd probably get sick, but Noah's like really responsible. He's 11 and he's like, I probably shouldn't eat that. It'll make my stomach hurt. And I'm like, dude, who are you? What is wrong with you? I did get concerned though when we were at the cabin. I was like, guys, it just dawned on me that we don't have any vegetables here. And Noah's like, Dad, it's only 2 days. It's going to be fine. And I was like, well, let's get a vegetable when we go to the diner. So we got coleslaw. So
there you go. That's a good vegetable mix.
It's something. At one point it was in the ground, But
that's cool. What a fun week. I'm glad you had a good week.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. I ended up talking to my neighbor as well. I mentioned that previously, that my neighbor's dog is like, so I've got 2 acres and I have this back lot that is just a big field, and his dog's been using the bathroom in there, and I just noticed a bunch of piles. So I saw the dogs out this weekend, so I went over and I just like, hey, introduced myself. I was like, I live over here. And I was like, just, if you wouldn't mind, would you be able to just keep an eye on your dog? I've noticed it's, taking dumps over in my yard, and I'm going to be mowing over there this week. And you know how it is when you mow and that stuff gets on the tires. He's like, yeah, you can't have that. Like, I'm sorry. So he's a super cool guy. And he's like, I'm actually putting up a fence in a few weeks. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, I'm sorry. I know my dog runs over there. It doesn't hurt your chickens, does it? I'm like, no, it hasn't gotten a hold of anything. So we're good. No worries. So, yeah.
Well, and I know how you feel about those chickens. So maybe you could line that up to where the dog gets loose when the chickens are outside.
Yeah, and get some kind of insurance policy or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, viewers, if you're out there and you're like, I could use 3 weathered hens, let me know. I've got 3 birds for you, 3 survivors. They lay eggs. I actually went out and and got a bunch of eggs out of the coop tonight. I don't eat them fast enough, but they keep for a long time, so I'll make some omelets and stuff. But
I'm
yeah,
shocked that you don't want to keep those chickens. Free eggs.
dude, it's free eggs, but it's like people say, oh, there's
Zero
no.
work.
That's not true. It's not zero work.
Minimal work.
It's you've gotta feed them. You're like, yeah, I don't know.
Do you keep yours in a cage?
I have them in a coop. When it gets warm out, I just let them free range because I really don't care anymore. So they just run
Okay,
around the yard.
so here's the secret. It's about 120 bucks on Amazon. It's a solar powered. It's also got so you don't need to have electricity out there. And it's a door and it goes up and it goes down and they come out in the morning and they go back in before dark because they're the best pets. We let ours free range all the time. Now, we've just recently lost our second rooster, so we're on to rooster 3, but you're going to have that.
Yeah. You see, Jerry, here's the thing. If, at this point, I'm just a portly, middle-aged, single man with 3 weathered chickens running around the yard that are just waiting to die. If I was in a different situation, if the kids are here all the time and they love the chickens and they want to go pet the chickens, sure. At this point, it's just like I go outside to do stuff in the yard and the chickens are following me because they want me to feed them some scraps and stuff. And so then I come inside, I look for something to feed them, I go back out, and they've got chicken food out in the coop and whatever, and they eat worms and junk. But it's just like, at this point, I don't know. I'm okay if I don't have chickens. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. Okay, so I have an idea. So you inspired me. Maybe what you could do, obviously you just said that you're, single. Maybe you could jump on like a dating website and your bio could be like single, middle-aged, portly man living with 3 weathered hens.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm a winner.
Just just leave it open. I mean, people are thinking weathered hens like, does he have 3 grandmas living with them?
Yeah, like who's this guy? He lives with his mom and her 2 sisters or something. Like this guy's a loser.
Tony, Justin's mom, if you're listening, we don't consider you a weathered hen. Sorry if
No,
Justin
I don't
offended
think she
you.
listens. She's not really into like anything social or yeah, she would just be like I think she'd have the same kind of response that your mom had. I feel like I'm listening to a conversation. But it's like, yes, yes, that's exactly what a podcast is a conversation. The thing that is kind of funny though is, I told my friend Chris something. I was like, yeah, I've been doing intermittent fasting. Because the last time I saw him, he got me really inspired for dieting and like losing some weight. And he's like, yeah, I know, I heard about it on the podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. So like, it's like, can I even have conversations with people? Like my sister's bringing up conversations out of the blue yesterday. Like, oh, when you said this, and I was like, when did I say that? Oh yeah, I said that on the podcast. Like, I don't know. It's just funny.
That's when you know
So
you're getting big time.
yeah, when a couple dozen people nationwide are listening. Yeah, yeah, that's when you know.
Oh. Okay, so we did pause earlier. We never got back to it, but you had mentioned you wanted to discuss inflation.
Yeah, so obviously, viewers, regardless of which side of the aisle that you're on, doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't want to debate you on anything, right? But at the same time, like prices have gone up. Like, right? Let's just be honest, everything's more expensive than it used to be. And nothing hit me harder than that when I was shopping for kitty litter this past weekend. And do you know how much a container of kitty litter costs, Jerry?
I didn't know you had a cat.
I don't.
Was it for you or the kids?
It
The
was
litter
for me.
box.
So when I was doing the oil change on my lawnmower, the
Okay.
the drain plug is in this, it's in a stupid location where it like drains onto the frame and it sits on
Oh,
the frame, so there's nothing you can do. Like they say like put a tube in. It's like I don't have a tube laying around that fits in this thing. So the oil's just going out, and I have it, most of it's going into a pan, but a bunch of it got on the garage floor, and I was just like, I just need to get some kitty litter. I know that's great for soaking up oil, and I just need to have a bucket around in the garage that if I spill some oil, I can throw it on the oil, no problem. So I went to Walmart, and I'm there. I'm like, okay, let's get some cat litter. Here we are.
and so Walmart has like great value items. Do they have great value cat litter or like a Walmart
I was
brand or?
surprised by that. If they did, it was out of stock. Things were
Okay,
looking kind
so
of slim there, anyways.
let me guess. 19.99 for a bag of kitty litter.
Yeah, you basically nailed it. It was $20, and it was a
No way.
container, probably like this big. I think it weighed like 15 pounds or something, but I don't know how many, probably like 3, 4 gallons, but $20. I was like, this is essentially just dirt, right? Like it's made of clay. Like, what are we doing? This is $20. This is insane. And I'm thinking like some of these people have all these cats, and it's like, how are you like, why are you spending so much money on a cat? Like, you got to be spending $20 a month on cat litter, and then you're spending another $20 a month on food, and then you've got some vet bills, and you're buying cat towers and toys and all this stuff. Like, you're sinking $50 to $100 a month into a cat. What is
Oh,
going
it's got to
on?
be even more than that. I just saw a lady at Aldi's the other day, and she did not have any kitty litter. And she's like, "Yeah, I got a bunch of cats. This will last me like 2 weeks or a little bit over 2 weeks." And she dropped, let's see, because she also had a few groceries. I was kind of doing the math in my head. I bet it was every bit of like $100 on cat food. That
Yeah,
was that's a generous 120, 150. Yeah, it was insane.
yeah. You just what's the I'm looking it up. What's the cost of owning a cat? How much does it cost to own a cat? I
All right,
average.
let
This
me take
is
a guess. Let me guess. So this is average. What's included in this?
I don't know. I'm just reading on. Okay, okay. You just guess. Give us a number. What's it cost to own a cat per month?
Okay, so growing up, we had cats. They were outdoor. We let them hunt, and we got some cheap Aldi brand dry cat food.
Yep.
No litter boxes. Let's just go with okay, cat food. Let's say it's $20. I'm gonna guess $20 a month.
Okay. I'm gonna read you some of the first few articles that come up. So, first article says about $50 to $100 per month is what I spend. Next article. I average around $250 a month. This cost covers everything: special diets, vet visits, treats, litter, meds, etc. I have older cats. Excuse me. Next article. After crunching the numbers with our vets, caring for a cat responsibly usually costs around $220 per month. Lifetime expenses.
So a cat can live like 14, 15, 16 years easily.
Yeah. Another person saying $70 a month. So it's like, yeah, 65 to $150 a month is what we've found. $278 a month. This is absurd. You've got people that are dropping thousands of dollars a year for a cat, and most people are owning more than one cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, viewers, if you're out there with a cat, please unsubscribe from this channel. I'm sorry. If you're spending
Oh,
$250 a month, you need to stop listening and go get a part-time job to pay for your cat.
yes. Yes.
Had an in-
Unreal.
Interesting interaction in a Dollar General related to a cat today. And there's a lady in front of me in line, and there's a lady behind me in line. Lady in front of me is about 50, lady behind me. I'm real bad at judging women's ages. I don't understand how to do it. So I'm going to say this lady behind me was
Like 300?
like 30. I don't really know.
Oh,
Because
30.
there's people that
Okay.
I've thought have been 30 and they're like, I'm 25. And then they're offended. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. There's people I think are like 50 and they're 40.
Are you good
Or,
at judging weight?
no, I'm not really good at judging anything. So I don't
What do you
know.
think the lady behind you weighed?
150. Lady in front of me, the older lady, probably 225. So that's just a guess. I should not. I'm not working at the carnival. But she just engages the lady behind me in a conversation. I'm in the middle, so I'm like caught up in this. And she tells her how much she loves her outfit, and she looks like she belongs in Vogue magazine. And then she's like, "I'm just here getting some stuff for my cat. Just got a cat yesterday for Easter. So excited." And I was like, "Oh, someone get it for you?" She said, "I got it for myself." And I was like, "That's awesome. Good for you getting yourself a little Easter kitten." And she's like, "Oh, he's, 2 years old or something." I'm like, whatever. That's cool. Got your cat. People are telling me not to get the cat, but I really want the cat. And I got this feather toy on a wand because he's hiding under my bed. And I'm just like, that's all, good for you. I'm excited for you. And then she just, you know, people like talking and like telling things. And she's like, I was in this abusive relationship and I couldn't have a cat. So now I can have a cat. And I'm like, good. I'm glad you got a cat. That's so awesome. And she's like, yeah, I named it Sabrina after Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And so then the girl behind me chimes in, and we're just all talking about this cat. And I'm just there to buy, you know, uh, iced tea, something with some caffeine in it here, just to get me through the afternoon. And I end up in this cat conversation. It was a good time. So,
Did it inspire you to go out and get a cat for yourself?
no, I hate cats.
I could share a story on the podcast about cats from my childhood, but it probably would offend a few people. But let's just say that we had some kittens that were not well, not well at
Mm.
all. And so we had to find a solution. So they went to heaven early.
They went to the vet, and you spent thousands of dollars on each one.
Yes.
Good for you. No, it was just
Oh,
I was just at Walmart and I was just like, I cannot believe that I'm about to spend $20 on this. But I justified it because I was like, I don't want to have oil stains all over the floor of my garage. So to
yep,
me, I'm gonna spend $20 and I'm gonna do this, right? So
yep.
it wasn't a big deal, whatever. But I was just blown away by that. I couldn't believe it. So that's my inflation story.
And speaking of inflation, you happened to mention our sponsor. You visited his store. Do you want to talk about our sponsor that's sponsoring this segment?
Yeah,
It's fitting
guys,
that we led into it with inflation because I think that's very fitting with our sponsor.
Yeah, the prices have never been lower at Enjoy Optical. Stop in today to get fitted for a custom pair of frames and some lenses. Our friend Wash Joe Cox is a doctor, and so he's going to give you an eye exam, see what's going on with your pupils and your retinas and the various parts of your eye, and he's going to be able to find the lens that's right for you. Transitioning is ever so popular here today in 2024. Maybe you'd like to get some transition lenses for yourself. That way, when you go outside, they automatically turn into sunglasses. And when you go inside, they're still awkwardly sunglasses for a few minutes until they turn into regular glasses. Head on down to Enjoy Optical or one of our Dollar General pop-up locations today where you may, just may, end up in a conversation with a lady about a cat for a long time. Head on down
Thank you.
today.
That was well worth us paying $2,500 for that ad read.
Yes, yes, that's what we do, dude. Speaking of locations that I'm a fan of, I'm a fan of Enjoy Optical. I'm a fan of Dollar General, but we've had this conversation before. I just know what I'm getting myself into, and it's fine. But I've mentioned this before. There's a place in the local mall around here. So viewers, if you don't live here, that's fine. That's fine. There's a place called Belden Village Mall, okay? It's your typical mall. It's starting to get a little bit run down. What can you do, right? There's a place in the mall called Stir Fry 88. It's just your classic mall Chinese food. You pull up, you see the menu. Super simple. It's a 1, 2, or 3. You either get 1 meat, 2 meat, or 3 meat. Okay? Those are your options. And then you just point to the meat that you want through the glass and you say, I want this meat. I want rice. I want this meat. I want this meat and this meat. And I want soy sauce or teriyaki sauce or whatever. I love it. It's great. $10, you get this huge container of food. I get veggies. So it's got the cabbage, the carrots, the pea pods, whatever they're doing in China there, and different types of chicken, like a bourbon chicken or an orange chicken or something. So for $10, I get this container loaded down. Well, I was on Facebook this week, and I'm relatively new to Facebook. I just joined in January, so if you're not friends with me, feel free to friend me. I usually post updates of like pictures of my kids and stuff. But I saw someone I knew posted this here, and I'll get it close to the camera. And what's it say up at the top? Stir Fry 88. It's a restaurant inspection report found on the Stark County government website.
Oh, this is going to be good.
And it says, follow up and go ahead.
Can I ask a question? How many years have you been going to Stir Fry 88?
Jerry, I've been going there since I started going to the mall. They got me with the toothpick sample back in 2007, and I've never looked back.
Okay, so you've got a good almost 20 years going there.
Yes. And I don't go there all the time, but a few times a year. So I would say 3 to 5 times a year. Currently, I go less because I eat out less, but you know, when everyone was together, we would be like, let's go to the food court because you can get food from anywhere you want. There's all different options. So if kids are picky, it's no big deal. If I want something, she wants something, it doesn't matter. So I was eating there more, but you know, probably 3 to 5 times a year is how often I'm eating here.
Okay. So before you read this report, are you guessing to, 50? You've probably gone close to 100 times in your lifetime.
Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
That's fair.
Get a number. Are you always doing like a 1 or a 2 or?
I'm always doing at least a 2 or 3 depending on how hungry I am, because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get, like I said, I get the veggies with the different types of meat, and then I would be like, oh, I'll eat this for lunch and then I'll eat the rest for dinner, right? Like I'm getting 2 meals out of this, so it's only like another $1.50 to go from 2 meat to 3 meat. Might as well, right? So I don't know how I feel about this, and I don't know when I'll go back. I want to go back, viewers, because it tastes good. Facility must get weekly pest control service every week for the next 30 days to treat for cockroaches. Pest control invoices must be sent to galleonc@starkhealth.org every week. A follow-up inspection will be conducted on April 15th, 2024 to reevaluate pest activity. They got the roaches. I don't know how to feel about it.
Did you ever get a bite of something and you're like, that just tasted off?
No, I've never thought to myself, this place is dirty. But also, you only see like the store front, like right up front. It's a mall restaurant, right? So back behind those doors where Chang is working his walk magic, I have no idea what's going on back there. You know, you've been in those Chinese restaurants, the flames are flying high and those dudes are working those walks. Everything's getting tossed in there.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what's going on. So apparently they've got the roaches.
Oh man, sorry to
So
hear
they've
that. That was your go-to spot for Christmas and Easter.
I spent Resurrection Sunday there. I was there for the 7 a.m. I was there for the 7 a.m. sunrise bourbon chicken to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord. But so they have 5 violations that were filed March 15th, 2024. It says one is a priority. That's this one that I read. And then it says non-priority violations 4. But it doesn't show me what those are, so I don't know. So there's 5 health code violations against one of my favorite mall quick service restaurants.
Why don't we have the viewers, because we have a lot of them, just comment if you've ever eaten
Tons.
there before.
Let us know, viewers, have you ever eaten at Stir Fry 88 in the Belden Village Mall? Would you go back knowing this information? And if so, when would you go back? Because clearly on April 15th, they're getting another inspection done. And so you would assume that at that point they're good, right? So what are a few roaches among friends?
And I guess here's the other question is, would you rather have roaches or pesticide spray on everything?
That's another good point, Jerry. Is is the pesticide spray getting in my bourbon chicken? I don't know.
At this point, I think here's what I would do if I were in your shoes. I don't know if I've ever eaten there. I think I've had the sample once before, probably years and years and years ago. But I would feel so confident that they're taking care of that violation. I'd be there every day this week and next week.
Just showing my Stir Fry 88 support.
They need it.
They
need
do.
it.
They do. Who knows? Like, I only saw this because someone posted it. Like, if I wasn't on Facebook looking around, I would not have seen this. And I would just went in there like normal, ordered the food, been fine, right? What's the Bible say? That it's sanctified through prayer. We're going to be
Yeah.
fine. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I want to go back.
I'd go as far to show your loyalty, and maybe you could get a loyalty member card. If you were to go there in the mall, put on that hat that they put on, and just serve up samples of chicken.
Yep. Act like I'm Chinese. Oh, you want a sample? One per customer.
What we did discover, though, a couple episodes ago, you do have something for the Asian culture and the taste.
Yeah, the taste mainly. I do like that. You know that the Asian zing sauces, the teriyaki sauces, sweet chili sauces, all that stuff is good.
Do you think with a high sodium diet over the next week, you could get your eyes to close up a little bit?
Dude, back in my big days, I'll go back and look at pictures sometimes when I weighed like 280 pounds. And I'm like, man, my face was like getting eaten by itself. So I'm still on the intermittent fasting. I'm a month strong.
Good for you. Good for you.
So on the trip, what I would do is instead of just doing like one meal, I would do an eating window of like 2 or 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would do that, and yeah, it was good. I'm enjoying it.
Still
Seems
feeling
like
good.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like something I can stick with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of sticks, I also saw this online. You know, I'm not online all the time, but I saw this picture of a piece of scrap wood with a TV remote tied to it. And it said, I here have been 0 remote losses since I strapped it to a piece of scrap wood. So the guy was losing his remote control, and his solution was, I'm going to strap it to a piece of scrap wood so that way it doesn't slide down in the couch. And it reminded me of a story from my childhood where we always lost the remote control. And my dad would just be like ticked off that we lost the remote because he worked third shift. So he would wake up around like 6 or 7 o'clock. He would want to come downstairs, And he would usually do like reading in his room for a while or whatever, and whatever, and then he'd come down and he'd want to turn on the History Channel and watch the History Channel for like 30 minutes while he ate breakfast. And he usually ate the same thing for breakfast. My mom would make him beans on toast with like eggs or something. I don't know. It's a British thing. Okay. So that's what he'd have for breakfast. He'd eat like a British style breakfast and he'd watch the History Channel. Well, he would get ticked off that we would lose the remote because we had it. Because when he left for work at like 8 o'clock at night, remote's on the recliner chair. When he gets up the next night, remote's not on the recliner chair anymore. It's gone. The kids have lost it because we come home and we want to watch Disney Channel or play video games or whatever, we lose it. So he was hiking in the woods and he found an antler. It was like a 4-point or a 6-point antler. It wasn't very big. It was probably like this big. And so he took a piece of rope and he drilled a hole in the bottom of like the battery plate on the remote, and he tied this piece of rope to the remote with a deer antler on it. So we never lost the remote again. Unfortunately, what would end up happening is sometimes you'd end up sitting on a 4-point deer antler and it'd catch you right in the hind end. And at that point, you knew the remote was nearby.
Let me guess. Based off of last week, you sitting on Pop twice, I'm guessing you sat on it on numerous occasions.
Oh, yeah. It was an inevitable problem to have. Yeah.
You just didn't even look down like, oh, there could be something that could violate me.
It was just like, I'm going to plop down on the couch. Whoop, there's a deer antler. Not supposed to go there. Yeah, I just remembered that when I saw that piece of wood on the remote, I was like, that's probably not a normal thing that anyone else has experienced in their childhood.
I've never heard of anybody ever doing that before, but it's genius.
So, it was a solution and it worked. I'm not going to do it, but.
So you spent some time with your mom. You're telling me a little bit, and you have a few other stories about your dad that you said you've got to share. So we got to open up this segment with you sharing some more stories about your dad.
So viewers, sorry again last week for the audio. I hope this is coming through much better with these ear pods back. I'm always chasing a charge on my phone. Like I cannot keep it charged. I don't know what my deal is. I'm getting a new phone this week. So I hope the battery's better. Maybe that's the problem. New iPhone 15. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I was over for Easter. We had an Easter dinner over at my mom's house late yesterday afternoon because it's Monday right now. So Sunday afternoon had Easter dinner over there. My sister's there, my brother-in-law, my nephew, and my mom. And so we were, just sitting there, and my sister was like, when you said that on the podcast about you weren't sure where you got your like accident proneness from, she's like, I immediately thought to myself, Justin, you one time saved Dad from drowning. What are you talking about? You don't remember where you can't think of where you got your accident proneness from. So and then so then we talked about that story, and then my mom started chiming in. She's like, you seriously don't remember this stuff? And so I took out my phone and I just started typing stuff down. So I once saved my dad from drowning. We were in Canada. He bought these pants at Goodwill. He would shop Goodwill and eBay all the time for deals. And so he bought these pants at Goodwill, and they were supposed to keep mosquitoes out of your legs. And how they did that is there was a little drawstring at the bottom that you would pull, and it would close your leg off. Well, he lost a lure in the lake, viewers. So he said, I'm going to jump in and get it off of that log over there. And so he jumps in the water, and then he starts swimming over there. And all of a sudden, I just see his arms start going under the water. And I'm like, that doesn't look right. So because he worked for the airlines, we ended up with our boat seat cushions being airplane seats, which are flotation devices. So my dad gets his head above water and he screams for my older brother, who's just sitting there in shock. And I'm just like, my dad's about to die out in this lake in the middle of nowhere in Canada, and my brother's not doing anything. So I don't know how old I was, 12 years old. I grabbed this seat cushion, and it's got these two handles on the bottom, and I jump in the water and I push it down, and my dad grabs a hold of the two handles, and he's able to pull himself back up. So what had happened was the pants filled up with water and essentially just turned into weights that pulled him down. So he couldn't swim out. So he had to take his pants off in order to get out of the water. Those are the kind of things that happen. And then we drive an hour in the wrong way and we end up in
Oh,
Carrollton, Ohio, when we're supposed to be in Millersburg. Those are the kind of things.
it's almost surreal. You just can't even make that story up.
No, you can't make that up. That really happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it really happened. My mom also said, "You don't remember when your dad stabbed himself between the eyes?" And I was like, "No, I don't remember that." And she's like, "Oh yeah, we went to an amusement park. He had an event for his work. You were probably 5 or 6, and your brother was messing with the band on his wrist, and he got it really tight, and your dad wanted to cut it off, and so he pulled out his pocket knife, and he was cutting it off of your brother, and he cut it free, and the knife went and stabbed him directly between the eyes." And blood starts running down. He's got this gash in his forehead. So these are the kind of things. And then my mom,
Oh,
my poor mom, because she comes
you're,
over, go ahead.
she's a champ. She is a champ. The fact that she needs to write a book about your dad.
They were married for 31 years and my dad died of cancer, and I don't, I think I saw him really argue a few times in my life, but I don't know, they just loved each other. And my mom just dealt with the stupid stuff that my dad did. So she moves over here from England. This lady it's not only like, oh, it's a long distance relationship, I'm leaving my friends from across state. It's like I'm moving to a different country at this point, right? So
Yep.
she
Yep.
moves here, and my dad is a mechanic, right? He was an airline mechanic in the Air Force, and that's what he did, for most of his, at least the later years of his life. He was a mechanic, always fixing stuff, always like able to rig something up. And so he wants to make a knife sharpener, like a stone, like a spinning wheel. You've seen those before. Like I have one in my
Hmm.
garage that's mounted, because those things are powerful. It's
Oh
mounted
yeah.
to my workbench. I can turn it on, sharpen my axe, sharpen whatever I need to sharpen, grind stuff down. It's a great tool to have, right?
Yep.
He wants to make one of those. He doesn't have one, but he does have an old vacuum cleaner. And so he gets one of the wheels that goes on a grinder. And my mom said he rigged up this machine in the basement. She hasn't been here for very long. She doesn't know what's going on, what's normal, what's not normal. And he rigs up this machine in his basement. The wheel is spinning on this thing out of a vacuum cleaner motor. And so the wheel is just spinning on this thing super fast. The wheel flies off, nicks him in the side, takes a chunk out of his oblique there, and flies into the wall and gets implanted in the wall. And the neighbors come over, knock on the door. Is everything okay? They thought something serious was wrong. My dad's bleeding
Wait,
there.
what kind of a wall did this stick in?
Drywall. So this was,
Wow.
yeah, I know. Luckily, it didn't go through. It must have hit a stud or something. And it was in a duplex. I mean, that
Oh
could you
my
imagine, like,
goodness.
sitting in your duplex watching TV one night and just boom, a sanding wheel stone thing flies through the room, and your redneck neighbor is just bleeding on the ground, and his British wife is freaking out. Like, what in the world?
So at this point, did your mom just think like, "Oh, this is normal American activity," or what did she say?
I don't know. I don't know what she thought. She was just like, it was so stupid. It was so stupid. And she's saying it in a British accent, so it's funnier. But yeah, those are the kind of things. So last week we talked about the different things with, almost died in a camper from carbon monoxide poisoning and just different things that are just like, wow, this is insane. And then he shot himself in his leg accidentally, four separate holes from one bullet, these different things. So that's definitely where I get it from
Yeah. Yeah,
after much thinking.
it's just yeah, it's in your destiny pretty much is you have no choice.
I want to change it though, Young Gravy. And so I'm thinking like, I don't know. I just need to like implement some rules for life.
Okay, so what are these rules of life? Because,
I don't
just
know.
less than a week ago you drove the wrong direction an hour.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
minor, but
I think a rule needs to be double check everything, even if it seems simple. And measure twice, cut once. That needs to be a rule of life.
you think you should probably like just swear off handguns, power tools, like everything masculine that you've ever been a part of?
Now, I love, you know, I personally don't own any firearms, but I do have some hand tools. And so, I'm not going to give that stuff up.
Yeah. So it's funny because after last episode, you brought the burnt spatula into the photo, and my wife was after she listened to it, she's like, "Do you remember the time that I had that happen?" I said, "Yes, I do remember that." So
Yeah.
I'm afraid that my kids, one of them is going to have similar things
Yep.
happen in life like you and like her.
Chances are high.
Very high.
I think that the key, though, is like, you know, she obviously recognizes it, but one of the keys is for you as a spouse is grace. Like, you have grace with it. Like, the way you handle it, you're just like, it's a genetic defect. You can't help it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Yeah. It is what it is. It was like today we were driving back and I have, you have two cup holders and she's driving. Drove yesterday. She drove today. I have my coffee cup on my side in the passenger cup holder and she has her water bottle. Well, she was eating a sucker. Where do you think that sucker stick went?
Probably in your bottle.
Yeah, right up against the side of my coffee cup. So I grab my coffee cup and I'm like, "What's sticky?" Sure enough, just I didn't realize that. Like didn't even register.
Most often, adults aren't eating suckers, anyways. She's just in
Well,
the
I
mood. Just in
I
the
think
mood
it's
for us.
I think so, like a pregnancy type of thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I often
So
find
any
that, like,
advice that you would offer to people like yourself that just have that genetic defect, how can they avoid these types of problems along the way?
obviously, I don't know how to avoid it, Jeremy, because I'm driving an hour the wrong way and, all this. Like, I think the key for me is, like, I need to consciously make an effort towards not doing these things or toward, like, it's just so easy for me to get cluttered. And my sister's like, oh, you definitely have ADHD and all this. And it's like, I get it. I know. But, like, you know, I have to deal with it. Like, I can't have that as an excuse for the rest of my life of like, man, this guy's the worst. Well, he just has ADHD. It's like, I don't want to be, I'm not handicapped, like,
That could be argued.
yeah. So it's like, for me, it's like, I just have to be very conscious about, okay, we're going to make sure things are organized. We're going to do this the right way. We're going to slow down, take our time, be patient. Like, those things are really hard for me. So I need
Well,
help.
you said that was a goal of yours for this year is to get more organized, but maybe as part of your profile too, you could just have that as like you'll see when someone's adopting a pet, like this pet has like anxiety, may attack young children, has anxiety.
Yeah. Oh, man. We should find some funny pet profiles and read them sometime. That would be hilarious.
There was a really good article in the local paper. You have to look back. It was from like a week or two ago. I sent it to my brother Josiah. And it was pretty much this thing that described this lady, like, saving this dog. Of course, take a wild guess. It's a pit bull, and she took it home in like a limo, and now it's sleeping with her and all this stuff. So of course he's screenshotting all of these, the local page like near him in Kentucky for dog rescue,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just the same thing. Like, hey, be careful. Super excitable. Might be a little bit too energetic around kids. He's like, translation: it will eat your toddler.
Oh man, I could totally see your brother doing something like that. That's funny.
Yeah. So maybe that's
Yeah.
what you need just for yourself is maybe like you said, 2024, if you want to get those transition lenses, and maybe it's just time for you to adopt a label.
Yeah, suffers from chronic disorganization, ADHD, drives the wrong way, accident prone, sits on drinks, like all these things.
Yeah, listeners, if this is your first episode or you just unsubscribed and then just finally resubscribed, you need to go back to episode 10, which this is 11, by the way, and just listen to the stories about
No, no,
Justin
no.
sitting down and
This
cut.
is 12, Jerry.
Is it 12?
Yeah, I know you don't recognize that because you just tell people not even to listen, but this is 12. So you want to go back to 11 if this is your first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out real quick if they when they finally do subscribe or listen, if they make it this far, shout out to Eston, Abby, and Josiah, and anyone else that you guys share the pod with. So
You
these are my
you
friends.
actually told him?
No, I didn't tell them about it.
Shout out if you organically found it.
Yes. If you stumbled across
If
this,
somehow you stumbled across this podcast, shout out to you. Oh man. What are we even doing? Why? Why do I do this to myself?
You know what though? I'm so glad. Imagine if we didn't tell, or if we didn't start this podcast, those stories about your dad, you obviously didn't even remember those stories, but the
Yeah.
rest of the world that's listening would not have known about those stories.
Yeah, and the one with the vacuum cleaner thing, I wasn't even born yet. So
Unreal.
it wasn't a new thing. And like when my older brother, when he was like 3 or 4, my dad left his pocket knife sitting out, and my brother grabs a hold of it. Like this is a car key, but he grabbed a hold of it like this and squeezed it and had to get stitches in his hand. And it's just like an accident. My dad left it out, and it's just like, this is what we do. These are the kind of things. Accident prone. So yeah,
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, my dad was honestly one of my best friends. Great. I love my dad. Great relationship, but yeah, we share the same defect. Can you do? What can you
Oh,
do?
okay. So you'll appreciate this. We were at the beach on Saturday, and my wife was up there. Um, I thought she was cold because the water is a little bit cool. And so she's standing there, and she's going to get upset at me, but she kind of had her hands like this a little bit by her side. And I was like, "Are you feeling okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "Because your hands kind of have like this look to them, like a pterodactyl." And so it reminded me of the ape claw. And I thought, wonder if if she's got some symptoms. So I don't know. But she was up there on the beach, and she was sitting on the towel. I was in the water with the kids. Of course, she doesn't like this because it draws too much attention. But I was just kind of waving to her like I was having like,
Like you have some extreme carpal tunnel. Oh man.
yeah.
Dude, that's
So
funny. Public embarrassment's a good time. I did it to my kids when we were at the diner. Like they were explaining this plan to me, how they're going to work at the diner, and they're like, "We're gonna make $10 an hour, and we'll come here. We'll work 10 hours a day, and we're gonna rent the house that we're staying in until we pay it off." And so then I flagged the waitress down. And I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am. I said, do you hire small children? And she's like, why are you asking? And I was like, my boys here, they wanna work, and this is what their plan is. What do you think about that? And so she just had fun with it, and she's like, where are you boys from? And all this, and it was a fun time. But Noah's like, yeah, that was embarrassing. And I was like, dude, it's good for you. Relax.
Oh yeah, get used to that. Yeah, but you know what that diner doesn't realize is your boys are hustlers, so they could bring in some serious workers by hiring them.
They are hard workers. They really are. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
workers.
What was this the dollar amount from the lemonade stand?
They made $184 in 4 hours, pulling it in,
Wow.
pulling it in. So maybe I'll throw that picture on here for you guys to see. I just have a picture of my boys sitting at the table with a pile of cash. It's just unreal. So they
Future young
were
gravies right there.
young gravies. Do 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 do. Gravy. That song you sent me. I listened. You were like, "You've never heard of that guy? Listen to this song." And I listened to like the first 15 seconds, and I was just like, "I'm out. I can't. This is
Oh
not.
yeah.
I just can't. My conscience won't allow this." No offense, Mariah. I know you're a huge fan. Have you? Speaking of
Oh.
public embarrassment, did your parents publicly embarrass you?
Not on purpose. So I hated crowds. I did not like being in front of people, all that stuff my whole childhood. But my mom was persistent in getting me in front of groups of people. So I was just embarrassed just because I didn't like to be in front of them, but
Yeah.
never said anything to embarrass me that way. Why?
Okay.
How about for you?
Oh, all the time. Yeah, we'd go to yeah, we'd go out to dinner or something, and they'd ask if want dessert or something, and my dad would be like, "What, you think you got this big eating salads?" Just saying stupid stuff like that. And like he would do, like my dad would like pull up to McDonald's with us in the car with him and be like, thanks for choosing McDonald's. What can I get for you? Be like, yeah, you guys, you got any Jello? And they're like, no. Okay, I'll just take the spaghetti. And they're like, we don't. And we're just like sitting in the car, like, what is happening? My dad is an idiot. And they're like, we don't have spaghetti. Okay, fine. I'll just take some waffles and that'll be all. And it's like, sir, we don't have waffles. You have double cheeseburgers? Like, and then it's just, just stupid stuff. I
Oh.
remember my brother had a girl. He was taking a girl to homecoming or prom or something. And my dad comes down the stairs, and my brother's like standing in the living room with this girl, and like they're pinning a flower on or something. And my dad's like, you know the rules. And he's like, yeah. And he said, you know the rules. You wet the bed, you change the sheets. And she's just like, she's standing there, like looking at my brother, like, what? And he's like, shut up, Dad. And my brother was real big into like cross country and stuff. And so we had this old junky Chevy Lumina minivan. And so my brother's in like eighth grade, right? And so I'm sitting in the passenger seat of this minivan. My dad pulls up to the track practice to pick up my brother. And my brother's walking across the parking lot with his friends. And my dad, and this is not politically correct, but he pretends to be mentally disabled. And he gets out of the van. He gets out of the van. And my brother's name is Martin. And he's like, Martin! Martin! He goes, you scored touchdown! 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 And he starts like running. And my brother is just like head down, so embarrassed, and I'm like sinking in the van seat. I'm like, what is going on? And this kind of stuff happened all the time. It was never ending.
Oh, dude, that might be one of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
it happened. Those kind of things. It was just like constantly looking for a way to like embarrass us or just like, I don't know. It was messed up, but like that's, I think it has one of two effects on you, and I have proof. Either you have like a twisted graveyard humor. That's what me and my sister both have. Like we'll joke around about like some of the weirdest stuff that you'd be like, that's so sad and depressing. And we're just like rolling laughing. Or you end up in prison, which happened to the other two siblings that I have. So those are your options. Either you're like you're so used to dealing with this kind of humor that it's just like, you know what? Even things that aren't funny are hilarious. Or you're just like, I don't know how to deal with reality. I'm going to break the law and go to prison. So there's a 50-50 shot. Viewers, if you're thinking about running around your old minivan, embarrassing your kids, pretending to be mentally disabled, 50-50 chance, prison. Do with that what you will.
It's probably worth the odds.
You know what? I wouldn't trade it. It was just so, because like, who can sit, like, no one listening to this has those kind of stories. No one.
No,
Guaranteed.
absolutely not. No.
Your
No,
parents cared about your self-esteem.
I don't know. So we were talking about this actually driving here to our house now. We're staying in North Carolina right now. And so there's a car that drove by, and it's an older Lexus, but it's still a Lexus. And it was, I'm not talking like 40 years old, but a handful of years old. And my wife said she could remember she would tell her stepmom she did not want to be seen driving in that Lexus.
Oh, man.
And I said, you got to be kidding me. I rode in a BMW one time in probably freshman year of high school. And I was like, I cannot believe I'm riding in a BMW. Prior to that, we had a old Ford Escort station wagon, which we would illegally ride in the trunk.
Yep.
And then we had a Ford Aerostar. So I pulled up pictures for her and I said, this is what I rode around in. And this is what I learned to drive in.
Yep.
I have no words for you.
Dude, the Aerostar was classic. It was a box. Those were nice vans.
Ugly. The Lumina was
though.
probably a little bit better looking because it had a little bit more of that like rounded profile.
It looked like a cockroach though. It looked like it belonged in the Stir Fry 88 kitchen back there.
Oh, so was that the go-to family vehicle was the Lumina?
That was, I remember, so we had it was a Chevy. I don't remember what it was, but it was some kind of station wagon. And so that's what we had. And then we upgraded to the Lumina. There was a guy named Jim Heflin. Do you remember this guy?
Oh, he's got the big hands.
Yeah, big hand, slick bald, like shiny bald. He owned a car dealership, and my dad knew him. And so we went to Heflin's Auto Sales or whatever, and we got
Is he legitimate or is he shady?
He was, from what I know, I mean, I was a kid, right? But from what I know, he was legit. And so we got a minivan. The van was fine, like mechanically, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I remember it was like a big deal getting this van. My parents were so excited. We were all excited to ride around in this. And at the time, it was probably 8 years old or something. But we were just like thrilled to have this van. It was the best van, And of course, within like a few years, kids riding around this thing, there's just trash and just the inside is a wreck, right? But yeah, so that's what we drove, the van. And then my parents bought a Chevy Suburban, which was a nice car, but it was an older model. I think it was like 10 years old or something, but good car. My dad liked the Suburban. And then my dad always had Ford Explorers. And then my mom, he loved Fords. I don't know why, but he did. I've always been a Honda guy myself.
Yeah.
Last 3 cars I bought have been Hondas.
Yeah, that's fascinating. At least you kept going up. I felt like mine went down. I went from until I bought my own car. We went from the Ford Aerostar to I forget what happened. There's the time in between where we were borrowing Grandma and Grandpa Steiner's. It was a 1976, I believe, Chevy Caprice, like a poop green color. And yeah, just nothing. We didn't go see that step up to the Suburban. Kind of took you to, at least it was older, but it was cooler.
It's a nice car. I learned to drive in that.
So
It's big, but it's nice. So you're going down. Your life seemed to be going on a downhill trajectory. Maybe you don't see it because you were in it, but the cars are getting worse. The roof is disappearing off of the house, as you referenced in a previous episode. Like it just seems like your whole life just
oh,
it kept getting worse.
dude, it kept getting worse till it got better. Yeah,
You're eating dog food outside, like
yeah.
it.
When you look back on your childhood, I mean, similar to yours, just in different ways, it's kind of surreal that we're, in a decent position where we're at today.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah, good jobs and
Yeah,
whatever. So,
yeah.
hey, praise the
I
Lord.
mean, the fact that we own a house and we have a car that's running is a miracle.
Yeah, I guess thinking about it, I owned my first house when I was 22. And
Yeah.
so that's probably pretty rare. Some people are, yeah, like I think of my parents. I think they owned their first house, they would have been in their 30s. So,
Yeah.
yeah, praise
Yeah.
the
I think I
Lord.
was 23 when I bought my first house. So yeah, I'm
Yeah,
right there with you. It's definitely an oddity.
yeah.
I guess we only had
So,
one way to go was up. I mean, it couldn't have gotten much worse unless we decided to live in a van or something.
yeah, I mean, when your dad's running around the van pretending to be mentally handicapped, you can only go up from there.
Okay, so do you ever catch yourself not embarrassing your kids because you have a flashback to your childhood, or do you just go with it full send?
No, I go with it when like it strikes me, but I'm not like looking for it all the time.
Okay.
Like I did that at the diner because there was hardly anybody in there. The waitress that we had also owned the diner. It was like that kind of a small place. And so I was like, this will be funny because,
Oh yeah.
whatever. But I'm not like constantly on the hunt for like opportunities to mess with my kids. But if the opportunity presents itself, I usually take it.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
can
definitely not
appreciate
afraid.
that.
Yeah,
So
I'm not
you've
afraid to
got
do
three kids, so probably one of them will end up in prison.
that.
Just
Oh, now
kidding,
you're
kids.
scaring me. Now you're scaring me. Boys, if you're listening, you're going to be just fine. You won't turn out like your uncles.
Oh, although you might turn out like dad and just have just a few injuries and accidents along the way, but that's okay.
Genetic defects, which you can't do anything about. You're going to
No,
try, but you can't.
no, no. One day they're going to be, just like, man, I just feel stiff. And where do you think you'll send them at when they're telling you that?
Jerry, I'll tell them to call up the good folks at Adjust Chiropractic there in Canton and schedule an appointment with Dr. Brian. You're going to have your initial consultation, and some things are going to seem off there. They're going to be doing some things where you're like, what does all this really mean? Is this really legitimate? Am I getting scammed? And the answer is yes, you are. But it's going to be a great time. So you're going to go back then your second time and you're going to get adjusted. You're going to hear some cracks like that. And they're going to pop your hips back in place. Maybe you got a couple ribs out. You don't even realize it. And they're popping stuff in, popping stuff out. It's going to be a great time. So give the folks over to Just Chiropractic in Canton a call today for all of your chiropractic needs.
And if I say, hey, it's a little too expensive, is there any way to lower that price?
There is. Yep, you can use the code Witchcraft and get $10 off your first visit there. The code is Witchcraft, WITCHCRAFT. Tell them the boys on the Trail Whisperers podcast sent you.
I saw my wife. It's funny. We were driving today, and she's like, "Look, there's an Enjoy Optical pop-up shop."
Yeah, they're
Of course,
everywhere.
everywhere, literally middle of nowhere. There it is. Enjoy
Did
Optical
she show
pop-up.
you? Did she show you the video I sent her on Facebook?
What was it about?
I messaged her. It's about Dollar General. There's this comedian, and
Oh no, not
he's
yet.
okay. You need to watch it. It's funny because
Okay.
he's acting like a construction worker, like a foreman for Dollar General, and he's like, "We're looking for a new place to build our Dollar General. You're telling me 2 people were murdered right here? This is a perfect location. What's the crime rate here? It's high? All right, we're going to put it right here on this corner." Like, it was so funny. You got to
Oh, dude,
ask
that
her to
sounds
see it. I sent
amazing.
it to her.
Okay.
Yeah, ask her to see it. It's
I
a
think
good
one of my
one.
favorite parts about every episode is truthfully listening to the ad read. I know what's coming, and I just love them every single time.
And viewers, just so you know, like, I don't plan for those or even think about what I'm going to say. And I had no idea that it was coming. So he puts me on the spot, and I just have to look at the camera and just say the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah, the guy that always comments, Aaron, he's like, "I love the ad reads. Those are so funny." So I'm glad you like them. Maybe you're out there with a small business and you're saying, you know what? We're struggling to make ends meet. Where should we put our marketing dollars? How about right here with the 2 to 3 dozen fans on the Trail Whisperers podcast? We'll do an ad read for you every week. Let us know if you're interested.
Or you might be in a similar situation as our friends at Enjoy Optical. We'll pay you to do an ad read.
It's true. We can arrange that as well. You let us know if you want to be advertised here. We'll get you taken care of.
And I think you did forget to leave the good folks, our few dozen, I almost said a few dozen whisperers.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we're going to call them. Our fans could be the whisperers.
The Wispies.
You did forget to give the discount code for the Dollar General pop-up.
Yeah, the code over there is scam. SCAM, scam. I don't know how to spell it. Because it's late, viewers. It's late. I'm ready for bed. Scam is the code. Use it today. Head down to Dollar General. Get yourself a pair of frames. Get them while they're
Transition
hot.
today.
Transition. Now's the time. It's 2024. It's all that you'll be all the rage. You start transitioning right now. Trust me. Trust me, viewers. All right, Jerry. I'm about out of iced tea. You ready to wrap it up?
Ready to wrap it up. It's been a great pod. I've enjoyed
All right,
it.
guys.
Don't
We'll
forget,
see.
unsubscribe.
No, don't. Please stay subscribed. We need you. We need you. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. Love you. See ya.
Love you. Bye.
Welcome on the trail here again. Trail Whispers, my friend. Welcome on the trail here again. Trail Whispers round the bend. Trail Whispers back again.